China has attempted to hose down anxiety among Pacific Island nations about its aims in the region after failing to win enough support for a sweeping security and economic pact that it had proposed. Foreign Minister Wang Yi jointly hosted a virtual meeting with counterparts from 10 Pacific nations during a visit to Fiji. The leaders failed to deliver a consensus over the proposed deal that would have seen Beijing offer millions of dollars in financial aid and a potential free trade agreement.
最后我要再说一句，就是近来有些人士质疑中国为什么如此积极的支持和帮助太平洋的岛国。奉劝一些人不必过分的焦虑，也不必过于紧张，因为中国和发展中国家实现共同发展和共同繁荣，将使这个世界更加公平、更加和谐，也更加稳定。
Mr. Wang is currently on the fourth stop of his South Pacific tour, shoring up support for deeper Chinese engagement in the region. Its proposed region-wide deal was expected to cover everything from security to fisheries, but it has drawn suspicion from some countries in the region and in the West about China's military ambitions in the area. Still, China has managed to stitch up some bilateral agreements in the spirit of strengthening partnerships.
Our meeting today was guided by mutual respect and the common interest of our people's continued socio-economic progress. We have a solid foundation on which to build. Fiji's friendship with China has helped develop infrastructure, train our people, and deliver essential medical supplies, which accelerated our post-pandemic recovery.
For more, Lo Minmin joins us live now from Shanghai. Minmin, what can we conclude about the outcome of China's push for this deal? And how is China responding to its apparent failure?
Well, China is certainly not couching this as a failure. In fact, Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that there has been general support from the 10 countries, although there are concerns over specific issues. And I think we can conclude from this that the region is not quite ready for such close ties with Beijing, especially with such an ambitious deal covering everything from security and policing exchanges to a free trade agreement and cooperation over data networks and cybersecurity. Now, Micronesia, for one, had said that this deal could compromise the strategic autonomy of Pacific Island nations and tie their economies and societies too closely to Beijing, making them vulnerable to the sort of economic coercion that Beijing is known to wield from time to time. Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that the countries have agreed on 5 areas of cooperation, including new centers on disaster and agriculture, as well as economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. But notably, though, they couldn't agree on security issues. China's expertise on mass surveillance has raised concerns that China could gain access to biodata and surveil people living and traveling in the Pacific. And Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that he will continue to consult with these nations to shape consensus for more cooperation.
We are always in constant consultations with our friends as our State Council has mentioned many times, and it is also China's policy. We never impose anything to other countries, let alone to our developing friends and small island countries. Never has that happened.
Minmin, the United States has alleged that China is offering these Pacific Island nations what they term shadowy, vague deals. And how has Beijing responded to that description?
Well, Beijing is positioning itself as a champion of smaller developing nations, saying that it has more resources to help them safeguard their legitimate rights and interests in the international arena, and that these countries are sovereign nations and not anyone's backyard. In other words, China doesn't want these countries to become chess pieces of Australia and the United States. We know that these two countries had been vehemently opposed to China signing a security pact with the Solomon Islands just over a month ago, fearing that China could create a military bases in the region just thousands of kilometers away from Australia. And while China has denied that, the new multilateral deal that fell through today had invited Pacific countries to participate in a in a satellite system that would collect weather data for both military and civilian purposes, including maritime surveillance. And experts say that this is China's way of attempting to create a competing Asia-Pacific security arrangement, especially on the back of that Quad meeting, the newly announced Maritime Awareness Data Initiative. And with all of these countries vying for influence in the region, the Pacific Island nations are likely to milk this opportunity to get the best deal they can out of all the players involved.
Min, thank you for that. Lo Min there reporting live from Shanghai. Well, meanwhile, Fiji's residents are seeing the benefits of a deal with China, but some are concerned that Beijing's help will come with conditions.
I think Chinese is a good coming to Fiji, so they bring us bigger houses. They bring money in Fiji. Chinese, they're good people.
I guess there's always two sides to it. There's a good side and a bad side. If it close up to just one country, and it sort of creates tension with other political countries, including America and other Western countries. And we lose out on the other part of the world. It'll really put a strain on Fiji if anything goes wrong in the near future in regards to economy, tourism industry, and even with trade.